Hello everyone and welcome to my draft analysis of the EDC, otherwise known as the Everyone Draft Community. This season, they're doing a Wi-Fi division, and I've been invited by a very nice person who was also in the Castelia Dynasty League last season, was a replacement coach, Fisttoyourdoom. Very much appreciate the offer to invite me for this season of EDC, and I'm very hyped to be playing some more Gen 9 Wi-Fi as Gen 6. I forgot screens were up, I think, 3 different battles, because there's no field effects tab, so I can see them at least in Gen 9. But anyways, this is their logo. What a great logo, might I add. I believe we are in the Ignite division, so like, you know, Heatran. Heatran's a cool guy, alright. You can hate Heatran. But without further ado, you may be wondering what I was able to draft. I will first preface that it was a 16-man draft, Paldea decks. There was Terra. No set amount of Terra like points for your captain, so not like a 25-point or 30-point limit. You just chose 1 to 2 Pokemon to Terra, but you had to pay a tax on them. So you had to pay more points if you wanted to Terra something. Which you will see upcoming at my 3rd and 4th pick. But anyways, we got 13 out of 16. Not the greatest draft spot, but definitely not the worst. Better than, you know, 9 through 12, in my opinion. I'd rather be closer to the end, personally. But without further ado, let's see what my first round pick was. So at 13 out of 16, our draft spot wasn't the greatest, but not the worst. I don't hate it. Better than like 9 through 12 in my opinion, just because you're closer to the in wheel. Being able to pick 2 Pokemon as a core easier. And we got Great Tusk. I've actually never used Great Tusk in a Paldean format, so I'm really excited to use him. Best ground type in the format. Sorry, Garchomp. Love you, bro, but he's a little better. Best hazard removal in the format by far. Treads, you know, love Treads, but Tusk just got that dog in him. That Treads, you know, he don't quite have yet. But anyways, if you're unfamiliar with Great Tusk, I know it is a new Pokemon to Generation 9. It is a ground fighting type, which is a very good offensive dual stab. Even defensively, not the worst. It has Photosynthesis, which basically, if you use a booster energy or the sunlight is up, it will gain a stat boost to whichever its highest stat is. Typically, it's attack or speed. You can EV it to, you know, be whichever one, depending on what kind of set you could run. You could even run defense, but not as common. Great Tusk has a lot of HP, attack and defense. Not a lot of special attack, not a lot of special defense, and good speed. You know, after you get a rapid spin off, you're going to be outspeeding most things, bar some choice scarfs on the opposing side. But he just hits really hard. He's very defensively tanky. If you don't want to run like rocks on him, he's a great assault vest user as well to buff up that special defense, which is, you know, one of his weakest stats. And overall, he's just a great Pokemon, a very good glue piece to any team. You can throw Great Tusk on almost any team in a Paldea Dex format, and he's gonna do something. He's gonna do something, whether it get rocks up, remove hazards, fire off some very strong headlong rushes or close combats. Great Tusk is a very versatile mon, and I'm very excited to pick it up. Didn't expect it to make it to me, but I'm not complaining. So, with that being said, let's see what I was able to get. We are doing a snake-style draft. So basically, it will go like 1 to 16, and then the 16th person will have another pick, and then it'll go back to 1. So, I'm only like, what, 8 picks away from my next, rather than the 13 before. So, basically, I have a closer pick. I'll be able to pair something with Great Tusk easier. And let's see what I picked up in round 2. So next up, we were able to get Spectrier, which is kind of crazy considering our spot. I very much did not expect Spectrier to make it back to us. Am I complaining? Not at all. Now, I have called this Pokemon a fraud in the past. But every time I see this Pokemon, it's always in like semifinals or final. It's always winning. I guess people don't draft good normal types. I feel like I do quite often, and maybe that's why I don't struggle against this mod too much. It's definitely a very matchup dependent mod. But, I mean, those stats are just crazy. If you don't know what Spectrier is, it's a mono ghost type. It has Grim Neigh, which means every kill you get, it boosts your special attack by 1. It's similar to Moxie, but for special attack instead of physical attack. The stats 100 HP, it's got 60 defense and 80 speed F, so it's not the bulkiest thing, but it can definitely take, you know, 1 or 2 neutral hits if needed. But that 145 special attack, man, and 130 speed are so good in this format. 130 speed especially. I find a lot of teams cap out at around the 120 to 125 speed because there's so many mons there. Like Kilowattrel, Greninja. I feel like there's a lot of mons in that range, so being able to outspeed them, being at 130, while not being kind of a meh mon like Hisuian Electrode, trading off a lot of other base stat total just for speed, makes this a really good Pokemon. And I'm excited to test it out. I've called it a fraud in the past, but you know, I'm gonna try it out. All right, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But how can I call something a fraud when I've never used it? You know what I mean? But yeah, I am excited to use it. And with these two great back-to-back picks, honestly, very surprised I get it. It's quite a while until my next pick. So I was theory crafting a lot about what I should get next, and here's what I settled on. So the third Pokemon we got was Thundurus Therian. I don't know if you guys have been following the channel for a while, but in the EBA, we also had Thundurus Therian. But the difference is, you see that little icon up there? That means I can Terra him. Now in this league, it is open Terra, but with preview, thank God. So that means, you know, whatever matchup we want, we don't have set Terra types, so this guy can be Terra'd to what is best tailored towards a matchup. And Thundy T, he's such a good mon. If you're unfamiliar, he's an electric flying type with Volt Absorb, which is a very good type. Very good offensive dual typing. He's not the bulkiest guy, 79 HP, 70 defense, 80 speed F, but it's not the worst either, you know. Like Spectre, he can take a few neutral hits. 101 speed, so he's able to speed, you know, the plethora of 100 speed Pokemon, which is very nice. 105 attack, and then it's that 145 special attack. That thing hits hard. Especially when this guy can Terra, because his move pool is pretty decent, but he does struggle against certain types, like, you know, I think he gets Grass Knot, but like lighter ground types doesn't really deal with too well. But, you know, I can Terra Ice or Terra Grass and, you know, nuke them. But I just really like Thundy T. I like the nuke factor of him. Like, once you get him in, he gets a nasty plot or an agility up, and he can just win the game under the right circumstances. Same with Spectrier. So I think these two honestly pair better than Tusk and Spectrier. Now, Tusk can deal with normal types for Spectrier because it is part fighting type. But I feel like these two guys can just wall break for each other and the other one clean up afterwards. So I'm very excited for that. Excited to use Thundy T again, especially with Terra. And we have our actual next Terramon after. So this is our shorter pick again, about 8 picks until it's us. And I was able to get one of the OGs. That's right, we got Blastoise with the Terra, as you can see. I mean, this guy's been good since Gen 1. He's got that mono water typing, Torrent and Rain Dish, you know. Torrent's a not bad ability. He's got Rapid Spin removal, so I can relieve some pressure off Great Tusk if I don't want to run that 1 week. And his stats are pretty good. 79 HP, 100 defense, 105 speed F. He's a bulky guy. 83 attack, 85 special attack. Means you can run him mixed if you want. You know, maybe like different coverage that he doesn't have specially. You can run physically, vice versa, which is very nice. And 78 speed, meaning, you know, you get a rapid spin off. He outspeeds quite a few things, even without not a lot of investment in speed, which is very nice. And I mean, I just wanted another remover, wanted a bulkier water type. I think he fits pretty well here. Terra is always nice. I could have terrestrialized Great Tusk, but he honestly doesn't need it that much. And Blastoise can be a win condition with like Terra Shell Smash. And it's also very annoying for my opponent to prep for Terra Shell Smash. You know, it could force like a Mirror Herb or two on a Pokemon. And that's one less item, you know, they could have to counter Thundurus, Spectrier, or Great Tusk. So I think Blastoise is a very good supportive element for this team that can also function as a wall breaker. So yeah, After that, we did have a long while before my next turn, but I wanted to continue completing my defensive cores because, you know, we have 3 really strong Pokemon as our first 3. So here's our 5th Pokemon. So our 5th Pokemon is Registeel. I'm not the biggest fan of Registeel in Paldea decks because he did lose Toxic, but I was recommended to use him, that he's pretty good still, even without Toxic. You know, I said, why not? We're trying out Spectre already, let's try out Registeel as well. You know, the league of trying out new stuff. In case you're unfamiliar, he is a Mono Steel type, which is one of the best typings in the game. He's got Clear Body and Light Metal. Clear Body, you never run Light Metal, so his stats can't be dropped. He's very bulky. 80 HP, 150 defense, 150 special defense. You basically just pump, you know, 252 in HP and then wherever you need it. And 75 in attack and special attack isn't too bad. He usually runs like Curse or Iron Defense sets with Body Press. So even with those lower attacking stats, he can still put in work. 50 speed, he's quite a slow boy, but we're not drafting him for the speed. You know, he's helping us complete our Fairy Steel Dragon Core, or the start of it actually, which is very nice. Registeel, he just sits on the field. It's very difficult to one-shot him as he like, you know, those defenses are just insane, and the Steel type is really good defensively. And I think he pairs extremely well with our next pick here. So our next pick is Sylveon. It is a mono fairy type, which, you know, another one of the best types in the game. A defensive and offensive Pokemon can honestly be either. You know, you can make it be a Wish Passer, or you can throw a Choice Specs on it, or a Calm Mind setup. It's got a few different sets it likes to run, which is why I like it. I love versatility in Pokemon. I don't like drafting very linear Pokemon, which is why I don't usually like Spectrier, but we'll try it out. In case you're unaware, it does have the Mono Fairy type Cute Charm and Pixelate. Pixelate boosts all of its normal type moves by, I think, 30%. So basically it runs Hyper Voice and it gets Pixelated boosted and is stronger than Moonblast. I think it's like 112 base attack, which I could be wrong. It's somewhere near there. Sylveon base stat, 95 HP, 65 attack. It never runs attacking moves. 65 defense, 110 special attack, 130 special defense, and then 60 speed. It's very much a special ball. You can pump a lot in 2 defense, and you're still pretty specially bulky just because of the high base stat total. And 110 special attack, definitely nothing to sleep on. This thing can hit like a truck, you know, with those +1 or Choice Specs, Pixelate boosted Hyper Voices. And it also gives Wish support to Registeel and Blastoise, who have no reliable recovery, only leftovers. So I think that's going to be really good. Now, Wish support is a little difficult to do sometimes in Paldea decks just because how offensive the metagame is. But I'm goated, so, you know, I'll be able to Wish support as much as I want. Without further ado, though, let's hop into our next pick. So our 7th pick is a mon I've been wanting to use for a long time, and I think it's a bit underrated personally. It's Shaman. It is a mono grass type, and obviously not quite as good as Shaman Sky. But Natural Cure is a very nice ability, meaning, you know, if you want to Toxic Stall it or try and put it to sleep, I can just switch out. It's got 100 across the board in stats, so, you know, it's very versatile mon. You can make it offensive, you can make it defensive, you can make it, you know, speedy. A lot of different things you can do. And with its move pool, it's not the most diverse thing, but it's all you really need with, like, grass, fairy, ground coverage. Because, I mean, fairy and ground hits everything, and then Seed Flare is just a really strong move. I like. And also, Shaman's just a little cutie. Just a cutie. She's just a little cutie. 2 back-to-back cuties, Sylveon and Shaman. They're cute Pokemon. Shaman's just a good mon. It can, there's a lot of different sets, very versatile. As you know, I like versatile mons. And yeah, that is our 7th Pokemon. Let's move on to our 8th. Our 8th Pokemon is Salazzle, a Pokemon I've wanted to use for a while. So, as I was getting help for building this team, my friend Hunky said, you know, if you want Spectrier, you should try and get some sort of T-Spiker. It's not mandatory, but it does allow you to run some like Hex sets, which, you know, Spectrier hits super hard on. with a boosted Hex. And I said, okay. At the time, I didn't really know what I want. We thought about Glamora, but Glamora got taken before it got back to me. So I settled on Salazzle. Poison Fire type. It gives me a very nice speed tier in between Thundy T and Spectrier at 117, which is very nice. Corrosion and Oblivious. Pretty much always run Corrosion. It allows you to poison steel types with like Toxic, which is very nice. Salazzle's not the bulkiest thing, but it's fast, and 111 special attack hits pretty hard. It does like to run sets like, it just Toxic stalls you with like Sub, Black Sludge, Toxic, Flamethrower, Protect. It's one of its most common sets, but it can do other stuff like T-Spikes. And it hits pretty hard, so you could throw a Specs on it, honestly, if they have a Fire or a Poison weakness, and do a lot of damage. I'm excited to use this Mon. My friend Daniel K always loves it. And yeah, let's hop right into our 9th Pokemon. So our 9th Pokemon is Galarian Moltres. Now, I think at this point we had 11 points left, and there honestly was not too many good Dark types left. I really did want a Dark type for the Ghost weakness I had here with Spectrier. And we settled on Galarian Moltres. Now, it does overlap typings in Flying, making us technically Ice and Rock weak on the type chart. But Thundurus, as you know, can Terra out of that. So I'm not too big, it's not too big of a deal. Moltres Galar, really great stats. It is a Dark Flying type, which is not a bad typing at all. Berserk basically means when it gets below 50%, gains a special attack boost. So you compare this nicely with like a Citrus Berry, and I believe in DLC 1 or 2, I think 2, it got Pain Split. So theoretically, you could get to +6 if you Pain Split on all 6 of their Mons at full HP. So, and they hit you. So that's really cool. It's very bulky, 90 HP, 90 defense, and 125 special defense. Decently fast at 90 speed, 100 special attack, and 85 attack. It's pretty hard, pretty bulky. Fiery Wrath is a very good move. And I'm just excited to use this guy. I did have him with Terra in Burn Tower last season for like 2 weeks, but then I had to make some changes to the team, and I didn't want to drop him, but I kind of had to make the team overall better. Yeah, I'm excited to pick him up again. And he was 8 points, so let's see the criminally underrated Pokemon I got for 3 points next. So not really sure how Farigiraf was only 3 points, but I'm not complaining. I've seen this Pokemon put in a lot of work. With Terra, granted we do not have Terra, but it is a normal Psychic type, which is not a bad typing. It's only weak to Bug and Dark, I do believe. And it also gives us another Ghost immunity, which is, you know, very nice. Can't have too many of those. Cudchew, Armor Tail, and Sap Sipper, all 3 great abilities. All, you know, 3 different scenarios you want to use them in. Farigiraf, it's got like the Hariyama syndrome, where its HP is super high, but its defenses and SpDef are not that high. But it does mean you don't really have to run a lot of HP a lot. You can pump it into defense and SpDef, which matter a bit more. 110 special attack is, you know, quite high, and 90 attack. If you have to use a physical move, it's weak, or it's not weak by no means. And yeah, I've been wanting to use this, especially after watching, you know, I believe it was Choco Premier League Season 2, where I can't remember quite who had it, but somebody had Terra Farigiraf, and they put in work with it. So I'm very excited to see if I can, even without the Terra. I think it's a very good last Mon to round out this team. You know, pretty bulky, hits pretty hard. As you can see, I like bulky offense. That's my main playstyle, and I'm pretty happy with this team overall. So here is the full team we drafted. We did draft only 10 Pokemon, not 11, which was the cap, I do believe. Just to run it through again, we have Grey Tusk, Spectrier, Terra Thundurus Therian, Terra Blastoise, Registeel, Sylveon, Shaman, Salazzle, Moltres, Galarian, and Farigiraf. I think this is one of the better teams I've ever drafted. We'll see. Do definitely have some stiff competition this season in the EDC. Make sure, though, to go subscribe to all the coaches. All their links will be in the description. All amazing people, all very excited to battle and be in this league with them. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for week 1 of the EDC Ignite Division.